But for the spectacular, you didn't have to travel as far as India. In those days, before all the crowned heads of Europe, was no empty phrase. The blare of trumpets, tossing plumes, the glint of swords, breastplates, and golden eagles, of such even the smallest of European kingdoms had its share. At the top of the tree, the big boys, like Kaiser Wilhelm of Germany. To many, a handshake or a pat on the head from him was worth an accolade. Tsar Nicholas of Russia, celebrating his birthday with a parade along with his small son, both soon to know violent death. And along with the big chaps, a host of smaller ones, the King of Serbia, to name just one in the Balkans, and the last of a long line, the Sultan of Turkey. Alfonso of Spain on a visit to France. No kings there, only a president. But being France, that didn't lessen the glamour one jot. For position and privilege, the world was indeed a solid place. As shining and secure as the very sun that beat upon their elegant parasols, the sun that beat upon those who strolled the decks of a great ship that day in 1912, when she left Britain for New York on her maiden voyage. That day, to the millionaire in the stateroom, to the Irish emigrant in the steerage, to proud Captain Smith on her bridge, the SS Titanic appeared the very symbol of a way of life, prosperous, inevitable, and everlasting. This was Liverpool, not so very long after that day of sailing. Port of registration for a ship that was destined never to know its sea. There, a stunned multitude read the notices giving the names of those of the Titanic, those lost, and those saved. Those saved. Just a few hundred out of a total of over 2,000. There's the real privilege. There's the real wealth. For they still had their lives. A disaster, a legend, and a lesson. A lesson that in the face of nature, no ship is unsinkable, all men are equal. A lesson that in the eyes of God, even the Titanic is minute. (1912), and the suffragettes still on the march. But by now the ranks have indeed swelled, and thousands of Aunt Agathas go forward together to battle for female emancipation. By now they have the support of the universities and intellectuals, and the movement knows no division of class or privilege, for in it are the lowest and the highest. And being the pioneers, the whole world has its eye on them. For instance, Aunt Agatha always maintained that if only America threw her weight into the struggle, victory would be assured. Such a go-ahead, no-nonsense country, America, always open to new ideas. Much depended, Aunt Agatha thought, on that new candidate for the presidency, Mr. Woodrow Wilson. If anyone would support female suffrage, it would be Mr. Wilson, she said. Mr. Wilson and the people behind him, like that young Mr. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. But there again, sometimes even confident Aunt Agatha wasn't quite so sure. American women were, well, different, if you see what I mean. Not like us at all. But then Aunt Agatha always was one for sweeping generalizations. No, not like Aunt Agatha at all. March on, brave women of Britain. You've nothing to lose but your chains. Always in history, it is the pioneers who suffer for ultimate victory. Hundreds of miles away from the little Terra Nova, Scott and his party plod on, night after night in the freezing polar air. They set up camp to follow the monotonous routine of keeping alive on the worst journey in the world. Farewell, Scott, Evans, Wilson, and Oates, for your march leads only to death. But take encouragement from such endurance, suffragettes, and march on. For your goal is not the wastes of ice, but freedom for all your sex. Yet always is your endeavor fated to escape the full limelight. For elsewhere, too, there is marching. By 1913, the woods of Europe are alive with marching men. By 1913, the continent is uneasy. Maneuvers, exercises. Everywhere, the movement of pawns for the coming contest of war. In 1913, King George visits Berlin and rides through the streets with his cousin. The Kaiser's speech is tinged with peaceful platitudes. But behind the scenes, Germany presents a different picture. In the great industrial cauldron of the Ruhr, in the huge foundries of Krups at Essen, thousands of workers roll gun barrels off the production lines. Strength the building for a test of strength. For Britain, guns mean grizzly and shooting competitions. Just a sport to be taken as seriously as any sport, but no more. Not shoot to kill, but to demonstrate your skill. And may the best man win. But in high places, there are many